What is good, YouTube? This is your boy Aaron,
It's Brian.
and this is the Courtside View Podcast, and we are back today. And man, the NBA is near. It's almost time. And you know we got to discuss. We got to give our NBA preview real quick. And I have to say this, Brian. This is going to be one of the most important seasons for the NBA moving forward. And let me explain why. I say that because there's a lot of things that can alter the trajectory of the NBA in the future. Number one has to do with load management. If you haven't heard, NBA has instituted a new load management policy. And let's see here. Let me get it real quick.
Isn't it you can't rest two all-star caliber players in a single night?
Yes. So here it is. Number one, no more than one star player is unavailable for the same game. That's off rip. Number two, teams must ensure that star players are available for national TV and in-season tournament games. That's number two. Number three, teams must maintain a balance between the number of one-game absences for a star player in home games and road games, with the preference for those absences to happen in home games. So pretty much, listen, make sure that you don't load manage on the road. That's what that sounds like to me. And I agree, because that load managing on the road, that's just the worst feeling in the world for fans. Number four, teams must refrain from any long-term shutdown or near shutdown when a star player stops participating in games or plays in materially reduced role in circumstances affecting the integrity of the game. So I would say, remember when Anthony Davis, that whole thing before he got traded to the Lakers, they pretty much like reduced his minutes and then started to shut him down. Another thing that's a big issue, teams must ensure that healthy players resting for a game are present and visible to fans. Okay, so those are the new rules. That's going to be a big deal going forward, because one of the big issues when it comes to the NBA, one of the biggest criticisms has been load management. So I'm glad that they instituted a new policy, because this has been an ongoing thing ever since Greg Popovich and the Spurs have done it. So the next thing is the passing of the torch. What I mean by that is Victor Wembanyama coming into the NBA, and LeBron James, he's on his way out. Stephen Curry, he's eventually going to be on his way out. Kevin Durant as well. So it is imperative, it is essential that Victor Wembanyama stays healthy and that he reaches his potential, because they're going to need him in the future to be the face of the league. And so far, seeing some of his preseason games, he looks like the real deal. And then the next, I think it's like one more thing. Super teams. So this year, it's not going to be the last time we'll see super teams, but this experiment may be one of the last times we will ever see a team like really like go for it all and trying to implement a super team. And if it fails this year, I look at the Bucks with Middleton, with Dame, with Giannis. I look at the Suns with Durant, Beal, Booker. If they don't pan out, I feel like teams are going to be very, very hesitant in saying, okay, we're going to implement a super team, because of the cap situation moving forward, and because players are getting more injured than ever. So those are the three things that I'm looking into when it comes to this season and how important it's going to be for the future. What is your thoughts?
Let's start with the load management stuff first. I'm glad that they actually implemented rules and regulations for load management pause, for players sitting out. And I didn't really think about the whole away versus home aspect because it does make sense for players. It would make sense for players to load manage at home because they can see you whenever you get a home game. But I never thought about it being on the road. It's like, well, this could be their one or second chance, two chances to see you, and you sitting on the bench. So it's cool the NBA implemented that. I didn't even think about that aspect of resting players and whatnot. So yeah, I'm glad that so you can only so if I'm remembering correctly, you can only rest one star player a night.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And you said the other one was what was the other rule?
So it was the teams must ensure that star players are available for national TV and in-season tournament games.
There we go. That's the real interesting part here because everyone was like before the season start, well, like before it was even implemented, when people where there were talks about an in-season tournament, fans would just be like, "Oh, they would just rest their players." Well, guess what? You can't rest your players now for the in-season tournament. You got to put your guys out there. You got to compete. So that makes this a lot more interesting. But I
Mm-hmm.
still think there needs to be some type of other incentives for that in-season tournament to get fans interested in watching it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm actually listen. I know I get on the NBA's case a lot. I'm actually looking forward to this season,
Mm.
surprisingly,
Mm.
because I'm not going to lie. As much as an NFL guy I've been, the games just haven't been all that great. I'm gonna be honest with you. And the slate we got coming up tomorrow, I will be playing Spider-Man and having Red Zone pulled up on my laptop. That's how much I care about the games tomorrow. But yeah, on the other hand, you said passing the torch, LeBron to possibly Victor Wembanyama. Now Vic has been pretty good. Like I've seen some created player alien type plays he did, like that one play he was jumping out of bounds and he did the behind the back pass. I'm like, someone 7'3" should not be able to do that. It's ridiculous. And then what he did against the Warriors, if you look at the stat sheet, you probably like, well, he didn't really shoot that well. But if you watch the game and the plays he was making, he was all over the court at one point. And yeah, I pray he stays healthy. I really do because if he does, so side note, someone said they need to ban Victor from the league before he turns 25 if he's going to continue to go at the rate he does. And honestly, this is some revolutionary stuff right here, man. This is truly something we've never seen before in our lifetime. So
Mm.
I'm really looking forward. I really hope that torch gets passed down and Wembanyama becomes the best player in the league because that's going to be some phenomenal, exciting basketball to see for the future.
Mm-hmm.
And the last point you said,
I said
what'd you say
super
again?
teams.
Oh yeah, super teams. I've been said the super team era was over simply because it just wasn't working, and teams that had more balanced rosters would go see more success in the playoffs versus teams that would be put together with three-star players. And I'm glad that there's now. I don't even think this is really a anti-super team thing. I think this was an anti-Warriors thing because the Warriors were known for being paying the luxury tax so they could pay their guys and competing with that roster. But now it seems like the NBA Player Association was hell bent on stopping the Warriors from doing what they do with as far as roster building and giving their drafted players contracts. So then it's just that super teams got hit as a byproduct of that. So yeah, man, I figured it's only what I wouldn't even say the Bucks are a super team really. I don't think they're a super team.
You're
They're
not
just a well put
Chris
together
Middleton.
team. He, if this was 2021, then yeah, I'd say it was a super team. But as of right now, no. The only real super team you could say out there, the Suns, but
Okay.
they're a super team with a major flaw
Major flaw.
in just defense. So yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting to see how this season plays out. And your point on it being kind of a measuring stick for how the league moves in the future is, I think, is spot on.
Mm. You see, real journalism right there. You feel me? You know, I am bringing up the right topics at the right time because I'm telling you, this year is going to be something special. It's going to be something different, and I just can't wait. Tuesday is going to be, I believe, the Lakers. They play the Nuggets. Suns play Warriors, and whew, I'm a Lakers fan. This means a lot to me. Uh, I have to say this because I haven't been watching Lakers preseason because one, I'm watching football, and I'm not gonna watch Lakers preseason over football or anything like that. And I got other stuff to do. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard to say how good the Lakers will be because one of the glaring weaknesses is going to be the bigs. I'm still not very sold in the interior, and then the wing depth, the wing defender depth, because you have you have what's his name, Cam Reddish, what was it, Torian Prince, yeah, those guys, right? And then you had as your bigs, you have Christian Wood, who's a negative on defense. You have Jackson Hayes, who's been a bust where he was selected. And that's really your centers right there. I mean, Anthony Davis, he can play center as well at the power forward position. But overall, when it comes to bigs, we don't really have it that much. We do shoot the ball a lot better. I will say that. And I think LeBron James, he looks like he's in top shape as always at the beginning of the year. But the question will be at the end of the year, will he still be able to produce at the level that he is now? And will he still have the athleticism? Will he be dealing with a nagging injury by the time we get to the playoffs or by the time we get to April? And then Anthony Davis as well. So there's a lot of question marks when it comes to Lakers on the Nuggets side of things. They did lose Bruce Brown. They did lose Jeff Green. But at the same time, I do think they still have enough talent where they're going to be able to compete in the Western Conference with that chemistry, with the coaching and everything like that. I just think with the Nuggets, can Jamal Murray because the thing with Jamal Murray for me, yes, he was phenomenal in the playoffs. But the thing with Jamal Murray for me is that in the regular season, he just cruises on by. He's like, he's an all-star caliber player, right? But he never makes the all-star team, whatever it may be, and he's just on cruise control. Will Jamal Murray take that next step this year? Will Michael Porter take that next step? There's a lot of question marks when it comes to the Nuggets and can they repeat as champions? Because I don't know if they have the requisite talent to compete as champions. And when it comes to the Suns, defense, age, nutrition, can Durant stay healthy? Can Beal stay healthy? Can these guys stay healthy? This is why I brought up super teams, because normally how a super team is successful is because every player is in their prime, physical, and also abilities wise, they're in their prime. Right. Durant is not in his prime no more. Beal, he's in his prime, but he's injury prone. He's like in his later prime years. Devin Booker is the only guy where I look at, I'm saying, okay, he's in the middle of his prime. He's in his physical prime. I feel comfortable with Devin Booker. Everybody else I'm not comfortable with. And see, that's where lies the problem. And when we get to the rest of the roster, who? You know what I mean? What did Kanye say? He said, poop did he scoop? Poop did he? That's what it is. The rest of the roster. And like Nurkic, another guy that's injury prone. And
yep.
These are the teams in the West that we're sort of looking to and we're like, okay, they can compete. The Warriors, I'm not really looking at the Warriors too much. They're kind of an afterthought. Sacramento, they're an afterthought in my opinion. And Dallas Mavericks, they're an afterthought. These are the team Clippers. Every year, it's they're gonna stay healthy. Now they're going back and forth with the 76ers saying, we're not gonna trade you Terrence Mann because Terrence Mann, they must really think highly of a 27-year-old role player to get James Harden. They could always come out of nowhere and start winning, but I'm not, recent history is showing us that they're going to come up small. So those are some of the things in the Western Conference. Now, I'll let you speak to the Eastern Conference and just what are you looking at when it comes to the East?
I'm looking at three teams, really. Actually, kind of more like two teams. I'm looking at the Bucks and the Celtics because they have hands down the best rosters in the East. And like the 76ers, I have no idea what the heck is going on over there with James Harden. And I can't trust Joel Embiid to do enough to get to the conference finals finally. And the rest of the teams, the Heat, I'm pretty sure they'll make the playoffs, barring any serious injury. But that last year run, that was kind of their chance. They knocked out the top guys in the conference, and they just couldn't get it done in the finals yet again. And looking at their roster, they don't really seem to be. They ain't really improve at all. They did absolutely nothing. They lost players instead of acquiring them. And how much longer can we trust Spo to do his magic with underperforming rosters? Well, not underperforming, with less talented rosters. Let's go with that. So yeah, the East is kind of sad. It is because you look at the possible playoff teams. Got the Hawks, Magic maybe, Pacers. God forbid the Wizards. Raptors. It's just not a good conference anymore. They need some serious star power on that end, on that side, because as of right now, the West is continuing their dominance since the early 2000s. So ain't really much to look forward to unless you're a huge gambler.
What about Boston, man?
Boston. Okay, so the thing with Boston is they got Kristaps Porzingis. He's a good player. Can he stay healthy is the real question, and that's one of the things the Celtics have been dealing with around playoff time is players being healthy. Jason Tatum is always banged up, it seems. I can't rely on Kristaps Porzingis to be that rim protector and also be healthy enough to make a deep run in the playoffs because we haven't seen it yet. And we also, Jrue Holiday's good. But if you're going to acquire Jrue Holiday, why not keep Marcus Smart? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Now, granted, Jrue Holiday is better than Marcus Smart. Don't get me wrong. But they fill pretty similar roles, honestly. Like, Jrue isn't going to be creating shots on his own for that team. Like, be honest. He got that green light in Milwaukee because who else was going to do it? Because Chris Middleton was out. He was the second option. Now he's back to being the third option. So I'm not going to expect Jrue to really create shots on his own or score a whole bunch of points. They might as well have just kept Marcus Smart. That was honestly silly to me. And Jaylen Brown seems to still not have a left hand. He was literally like, it's crazy how you could see the night and day difference. He was literally just standing still, dribbling the ball. And you could just see night and day how different the control was between each hand. It was insane. And Jason Tatum, he has all the potential in the world, but when is he finally going to take that leap and become a solidified top 5 guy in the NBA? I still think the Celtics are good enough to make the conference finals. I'm sure the conference finals will be the Bucks and the Celtics.
Mm-hmm.
And on
about
the
the
West,
Bucks?
and the Bucks. We'll get to the Bucks. I mean, it's not really too much to say. You got Damon, you got Dame Giannis, you got Brook Lopez, great interior defense. You got Chris Middleton. Hopefully, he has a bounce back year because he was very underwhelming last year. You got okay depth, I suppose. Hopefully, you get some better production from your rook. Is it? I don't know how to pronounce his name. It starts with a B. Champ.
I have no
I
listen.
think that's it.
You know the roster better than me.
Yeah, but I can't pronounce his name. But yeah, hopefully you get some better production from that guy and get him some more minutes to get acclimated. But long as Giannis and Dame are healthy, I can pretty much guarantee they'll make the conference finals.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Who do you have? Who you have going to the finals?
Finals. I now, truth be told, I'm higher. I'm still higher on the Nuggets than most people are, simply because Coach Malone, Jokic, and Murray, obviously being a playoff guy, he just has to stay healthy through it.
Mm-hmm.
And they lost Bruce Brown, which is a big hit because he did some great things for them in that playoff run. But I
Mm-hmm.
still think they have guys that can still step up and play and fill that role. That rookie, what's his name? Is it Christian Braun?
Christian Brown, something like that. Yeah, Christian
Yeah,
Braun.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I expect him to have a much bigger role this year. Hopefully, he can replicate or replace that Bruce Brown role that they're going to miss this year. But as far as the finals, I can't really call the finals, but I will say I believe the Lakers will be back in the conference finals. This
Oh,
isn't me trying to jinx or anything. It just
oh,
makes
okay.
logical sense.
You think the Lakers going back to the conference finals? Okay, okay, I'll take that.
I don't
Hey,
think the Suns will be in the conference finals. I just don't.
you don't think they're going to be able to hold up once it comes down to April and May? You think they're going to be just Kevin Durant or Beal or Booker or whatever? They're just going to be hurt, injuries,
See,
Nurkic.
to me, it's not about the health I'm concerned about. Because when the playoff basketball comes around, the most important thing you need is defense, and that roster lacks it. So I don't believe they'll be able to continuously outscore their opponents enough to get to the conference finals, especially if they have to go through someone like, let's say they have to play the Lakers or
Mm-hmm.
Denver. I'm not comfortable taking that team over any of those two.
Mm-hmm. I think
So that's just what it is.
here and the thing with let me bring up the NFL, right? The thing with NBA is that it is so hard to get guys that are not the greatest defender in the world to be able to guard another person effectively. And when you look at the NFL, if you have a great defensive coordinator, they can hide some flaws from certain players because of a scheme, because of the way that they draw up certain coverages and stuff. I remember Rob Marinelli or something like that. I remember when your defensive coordinator years ago, you guys didn't have the greatest defenses in the world, but for whatever reason, y'all were always solid because he would, whatever coverage he would draw up, he would have it in a way where you guys would never be you guys were like maybe middle of the pack a lot of times, and you look at the roster and you're like, y'all should be trash, but you guys were always respectable. And with the NBA, it is like if your team doesn't have dudes that can defend, you're screwed. I don't care how much effort you put into, like, if you have a roster full of guys that just aren't good defenders, you're pretty much screwed. And I look at this Suns team and I say to myself, well, they don't have a lot of dudes that are good at defending. And Booker, he can defend. Durant, he can defend. Beal, I wouldn't call him a defender. Does he have the athletic ability to defend? Sure. But I don't know if he's capable of like really defending on a high level when a lot of the other guys around you aren't good defenders. Like I feel like with Bill, it comes down to, okay, does he have a bunch of other guys that can defend? And when that happens, I think he'll be more effective. But when you don't have room where you can rely on somebody else to protect the rim, when you can rely on somebody else to play help side defense when you're beat or something like that. There's not a lot of that going on in Suns. And that's my concern. Defense and obviously health is going to be the biggest question mark. And I don't know if they're going to be able to outscore people. I think with the Nets, with Kevin Durant, with Kyrie, James Harden, and Durant, they again health. It happens. And were they on their way to potentially make the finals? Maybe. But at the end of the day, they didn't make the finals because guys couldn't stay healthy. And they were middle of the pack defensively, but at the end of the day, you have to be able to stay healthy. And those two things, it's going to be very hard to like make the finals when you have those two deficiencies. And yeah, for who's going to make the finals? Oh man, this is tough. If I have to bet, I'll probably go with the Nuggets for the simple fact that there's still question marks with the Lakers' health, I believe, and the Suns' health as well. I think health is very important when making a decision on who's going to represent the conference in the finals. And I just can't trust the Lakers and the Suns and the Clippers being healthy enough to make it all the way to June. On the East side of things, I have to go with the Bucks. You bring in Damian Lillard with Giannis. Come on now. That's a cheat code. Like that's everybody's dream scenario for Giannis. It's having a point guard that can create his own shot, that can make a damn shot, make Giannis's life easier for him. And now you have Damian Lillard and you have Chris Middleton. My thing with the Bucks is guard defenders. Do they have guard defenders that can stop opposing guards from scoring? Because Jrue Holiday, best in the league at doing that. And now you don't have that anymore. Wing depth, you do have Middleton, but after Middleton, it's getting really kind of funky after that. So I would say guard and wing defenders is going to be their biggest question mark. But I just think overall they'll be fine. Brook Lopez, one of the best interior defenders, Giannis as well, and Chris Middleton, he could play defense as well. So I think they'll be solid. The bench isn't too bad. And yeah, I have Milwaukee. So I say it's Milwaukee and the Nuggets represent in the finals.
That would be my ideal matchup I'd want to see. Giannis versus Jokic in the final. That's actually when you look at it, they have pretty similarly built rosters. They got that really good big. Then they got a good point guard that can create his own shot. You got a solid interior guy, another solid interior guy. You know, there would be Gordon versus, and then the Bucks would be Lopez, and then you got, well, hold on. Well, they had a Bruce Brown, but they lost him.
Yeah.
But then the Bucks have a guy like Chris Middleton. You know what I'm saying? So they're pretty similarly built when you look at the roster.
Another thing I didn't talk about the Celtics. Here's the thing with the Celtics. You brought it up perfectly. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown, my thing again, doesn't have a left hand. And his decision making, he seems like he's turnover prone a lot when it becomes the biggest of moments. Jason Tatum, again, will he show up when it matters most against the biggest competition? They don't have a traditional point guard. Jrue Holiday is phenomenal, but he is not that traditional style going to create a shot for your player type of point guard. Like he's not a Chris Paul type of point guard that they need, or a Mike Conley. He's going to be he's really good. He was an all-star last year. But my problem with Jrue Holiday is, does he add what they were missing? Or is he just a copycat of Marcus Smart, but maybe a little bit better of a scorer? That's sort of my concern. And Kristaps Porzingis, will he stay healthy? Is another thing. And does he add a interior presence that they traded Robert Williams? Remember, they traded Robert Williams. So you're going to be missing some of that interior presence, although he was hurt a lot of the times, and he was like 6'9", I believe it was. He wasn't like 7 feet, but he was still one of the best when it comes to shot blocking and protecting the paint. Can Kristaps Porzingis become that for the Celtics? And I don't think so. I don't know if he's that type of dude that you can rely on in the interior. I feel like the paint presence is going to be very important for the Celtics when it comes to defending the interior, because I feel like a lot of teams are going to exploit that. That's why I have the Bucks over the Celtics, because I just think that the Bucks are more balanced offensively. And I just think the Celtics, because of that, they're going to get exposed when it matters most. Like you said, the East is kind of weak now. Like, it's back to the old Eastern Conference where it's just like it's 2 or 3 teams, and that's about it. So yeah, that's pretty much my take on the NBA preview. For Tuesday night, I have the Suns winning, and I have the Nuggets winning. I don't think the Lakers will win on Tuesday, and those are the teams I have winning on Tuesday.
Who's playing again?
So it's the Nuggets and the Lakers, and then it's the Suns and the Warriors. Actually, hold up. I might be wrong, because I
thought the Bucks played.
Yeah. Give me a second. Matter of fact, let me make sure.
I thought opening night was Thursday.
Nah, it's Tuesday. So, oh yeah, I was right. So it is Lakers versus Nuggets, Suns versus Warriors.
I'm gonna go Suns and Lakers.
Lakers?
Yeah.
And Mile High? Okay. I'll take it. I feel like you're trying to jinx
It's regular season.
I feel like you're trying to jinx
No, I think the Lakers will be a little ticked off because of how, they took the Nuggets took victory lap on y'all and whatnot. So
all right.
Maybe they try to make a statement or something.
Okay. Well, that'll do it on NBA preview.